EGM Network.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mikey. This is another episode of Hydrated Mind and Soul. And today we are talking about the power of saying no and setting boundaries.
Yes, we are. It's Dr. Hackford, and this is an exciting topic to me, only because it intertwines very much so with mental health and mindset, both. So just to say, if you're a people pleaser, that's a good thing. But also sometimes this show definitely might be for you. Or do you find yourself sometimes saying yes too often, saying yes to something and be like, ooh, I shouldn't have said yes, or I don't want to go, or after you've already made the commitment? I'm going to give you some strategies and tell you some things that can help you maybe set some boundaries for yourself that are healthy boundaries. Yeah. So I'll ask you something just to see and make a point, just see if I'm, right or wrong before we teach the people strategies here. But no, so if I asked you a question like, would you be okay if somebody just took a couple $1,000s out of your bank account without asking?
No. Okay. It happened to me. I actually had an old business partner that did it.
Okay, see, but that was a quick no. Yeah. That's a fast no. Okay, so, but if I said to you, would you like to spend more time, meaningful time with your family?
100%.
Yes, right away, right? Yeah. Okay, so then we go to the questions that have to do with making commitments that maybe I ask you to attend a meeting or event, and in your mind, you're like, I don't know if I want to go to that, but you also are talking to a friend, or you think they might need you there, or things like that. So all that's crossing through your mind at the same time. So you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to try to make it. Or does no just automatically come out with that kind of question? Or do you have some thoughts first?
I think I have some thoughts first, for sure, because you've got to, like we say, you got to set that boundary and find, okay, this event would be good. It's really that give and take of this event would be really good, say for business or whatever, right? But my friend's parent has some kind of an illness and they need me right now. That's where I have to set the boundary in my head. The business can wait because family's so important to me that I'm going to go help that friend out if he needs me, is where I'm at personally.
And so I'm guilty of this too. There's a lot of times that somebody will ask me something, an event, a meeting, come to my fundraiser, things that are good things. And I really have a good intention of like, yeah, I want to do this. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, I've already committed to this, and this that same day too. And, then it's all going in your mind like, well, maybe I should have said no, but then I already said yes. So then you're alternating back and forth between you made a commitment. So to me, commitment's big. If I said yes, because I'm really big on your yeses are yes and your nos are no, which is also a very healthy thing to stick to. So let's say statistically, 60% of people have difficulty saying no in general.
Yeah.
Which is more than half. Not as big of a number as 80 or 90, but it is more than half of people that have a little bit of difficulty. And there are different reasons for the difficulty. If you go straight to the brain and you talk scientifically, the brain sometimes constitutes no as a negative word. Yeah. So when we, our mindset kind of tends to, if you hear yes, it's more positive. If you hear no, it's a little negative, because we're used to, when we hear the word, we're being told, no, you can't do something, or no, I don't want you to do that. No, you can't have that. So no, when you hear it, is different than no when you say it in our brain. And just as to go a little deeper in the scientific part or the psychological part is, when those words stimulate the frontal lobe. So they are affecting the part of the brain, actually, those words that have cognitive function and that also control motivation. So yes and no have a big, difference there when you're going into that motivation part of the brain. Yeah. Everybody's motivated when people's like, yeah, yes. And then, you hear no, and it's like, that motivation's kind of like, wait a minute, it kind of goes down a little bit. So we have to retrain our brain to learn that no is not a negative word.
Correct.
Especially when you're using it for a positive reason, like setting a boundary or whatever you may be saying no to that you really need to, overcommitting yourself, things like that.
100%. And I think a part of that is like scheduling too.
Mm-hmm.
I have a business coach, shout out John Huffman. The dude's amazing, but he has helped me kind of set those boundaries personally and business wise by scheduling things that matter. Right. And then I'm going to take appointments from 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And then I have to do my morning stuff in the morning and then my evening stuff. And then it's family time. And I struggle with it big time. I'm on Sundays when I'm home with my wife, I feel guilty that I'm not working, but I'm like, this is the day of rest. Right. So I even struggle with that personally, but I think that the boundary aspect and saying no, it's kind of like, and I don't have kids, but all my siblings do, and a lot of my friends do, my wife's sisters do. But it's like when you're raising kids, and when you're talking about reprogramming your brain, it's like when you're asking a kid if they're doing something wrong, or when they are doing something wrong, not just saying no, you ask questions like, should you be doing that? Right. And that's the way that my mom raised us, is kind of like flipping the script. And it's just that mind game twist, changing that mindset on it too. So if that makes sense.
No, it does. So it's good that you said that, because us saying no is either from a parenting style or a behavioral style in ourselves. So, or yes. So, but we're kind of focusing on that no right now, because that's the one that's difficult for people to do. And a really, really good quote, and I don't remember where I heard it or read it, but I always remember it. It stuck with me, is that what we don't do determines what we can do. And I've heard that, and it stuck with me because it's kind of opposite, of what you typically hear. But if you really think about that, and think about, okay, what I don't do, meaning the things that I say no to, so that I can focus on the things that I can do and want to do and that are more meaningful or important.
Exactly.
It really like sets in that
balance.
Whoever did that quote, I'm not taking credit for that. I don't remember. I read it somewhere a long time ago, and it's just set in there. And the other one that I think everybody knows is that no is a complete sentence. The strategies, as far as what I give people when in sessions and therapy, and just in general, helping people out with what my opinion is that may or may not matter, but is that saying no is a complete sentence. It doesn't have to have anything with it.
Yeah.
And the reason for that, let's go to the mindset option and the mental health option, that no being a complete sentence actually builds confidence. It builds confidence, builds boundaries. It gives us self-awareness. The more that we say no, like if you think about, all of us have said yes to something or no to something that we wish we hadn't in general. Everybody's done that. We've all done that, like, big or small. But what we say yes and no to every day really shows, those decisions. All of us make decisions. They might be little tiny decisions we're going to eat for lunch, or it could be a big decision for business, like, do I take this contract? Whatever. Either way, we're making daily decisions every day. What we wear. I mean, literally everything is a decision. Okay. And we have a lot of power with our words. Speak life and death with your tongue. So yes and no is a big deal. Everything we say is a big deal. But if we go to the things we say no to, anything that's going to disrupt your peace, or is going to overexert yourself, or is going to damage you in some way, whether it's emotionally, physically, any way, spiritually, whatever way that it's going to damage yourself, it's a no. It's a simple, solid no. And we do have trouble with that. We want people to like us. We want to say yes to things that we actually may want to do, but we don't realize that we're running ourselves on an empty tank, when we are those people that want to give and serve and love and, all these things. So, we have to teach ourselves that saying no without giving a reason is the best way to start training your brain to have the mindset of no. And then also knowing you can say things like no, but you're still a nice person. Because I think a lot of people struggle that they think if they say no, people are going to think they're not nice, or they're mean, they're not giving a reason, when actually the not giving the reason is the better end, because when you start giving reasons, or then you find yourself making excuses. Yeah, you think, well, I can't because, and you're thinking of these things that sometimes are not even true. So number one, you're lying.
Or there doesn't even have to be a reason.
And you really don't. So that just be quiet after saying the no offers less argument.
Yeah.
There's always people that like to argue, but for your mental health, a lot of times if you say, oh no, or no, I can't, and you stop there, the other people tend to 90% of the time stop, where there are those 10% of people that'll argue, but now you're causing less argument and less stress because you're not raising that stress level with the making excuses. And then people are like, oh, well, you could come after that. Or, well, how long does that take? And then you try to find yourself making more excuses. So it actually is creating more stress in your mind and your brain than you realize. Than just saying no.
Yeah.
No.
100%. And I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I mean, I'm kind of a servant mentality, always wanting to help people out. I mean, it's a passion of mine, right? I like to be there for people, that flat tire friend. You know, some of my friends call me because I'm the 3 a.m. and they need something. They know that they can call me, right?
And that's being a good person, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's important, but like sometimes it's hard because the more you say yes, it can truly affect our mental health also. Yes. Right? Because we're giving and we're giving and we're giving and we're giving, and there's nothing left in the gas tank for us, for our family, for our spouses, whatever that may look like. So for me, I give kudos to my wife, because when she came in my life, she started stepping her foot down and going, what are you doing? Right? She's like, bro, you are too nice. Like, you're giving this guy way too much slack. He is leeching off of you. You're way too nice in this. And I'm like, it started to make me think, and like she really helped me work through that, because she's my little pit bull, and you know, little 5'2" Hispanic, and she's got that fire habanero in her.
Yeah,
so
that's so funny.
You know what I mean? Like she just helped me say no and be able to work on myself a little bit more.
Yeah, it's funny because that's I'm not 5'2", but that's me and my husband. He came along, he's so sweet and so nice. And not that I'm not nice, but I have the mean one of the relationship. So I did the same thing to him. And he's a business owner. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're letting these people, no, we're not doing that, you know? And he's gotten so much better. And I'm very proud of him, because he, especially business wise, you do have to be assertive in a professional, nice way. But you can't, people will run right over you all the time. And yep, everybody wants this discount and this and this. And that's a good thing, you know, to get people deals and all that comes with business. Sure. But when it takes advantage of them, that's where it goes to another level. And he was new and young. And I mean, we've been together for a very long time. So back then he was younger and newer into business, and his personality and nature is such a loving, kind person that's where it affects the people. They don't want to say no. And when they do say no, they get aggravated and mad that they said no, because they feel like they're displeasing somebody because they are so nice natured. And that was him. And I'm the one like, no, you know, like, no, absolutely not. Tell them you're not doing that. Yeah. And so, but those were more of the things that came along that were, I could see they were taking advantage of him. He didn't see that, because he tends to be naive in the fact that he thinks everybody's nice like him, and they're not. It's just, truth of the matter is, most people are not. Yeah. But and when you're very nice like that and very loving, you don't see it. And that brings me though to the point where saying no is good, as long as everything we do is done in love. Yeah, it's good. So whether you have to say no to somebody, or you can't do something for someone, or you don't want to, just as simple as you don't want to, it's okay, as long as we're doing it in a loving manner, because we're doing it for ourselves, as far as protecting ourselves, protecting our peace, protecting our time. For sure. Prioritizing what's more important than that. That's out of a loving way. That's not being mean and being like, you know, I don't care about that. I care. I want to go help a friend if I can, but I also have to prioritize the needs of what is more important. Is spending time on Sundays. Sunday's our day too. It's our family day. So my husband always cooks. The kids come over. That's more important to me than something that somebody invites me to. And yes, I would love to go, but out of love, in reality, my family and time with my family is more important. And that protects my peace. That makes me feel better. Then in turn, I can do more. I can, go help people other days because I've done my day of rest and spending time with my family on Sunday.
Fill your cup back up.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody needs to do that. It doesn't have to be a Sunday, It just happens to be the day that all of us are off work. Nobody works. We go to church. Yes, we go. But that's the day that everybody has that time together. We all all of our days match as far as Sunday goes. Some of the other ones are random. Like some evenings, one of my kids come over, another evening, the other comes over. Some evenings we're all there, but Sundays are the day nobody's at work, unless some occasion comes up that's not normal, a wedding or whatever, out of town, stuff like that. But normally we all have Sundays and we try to make it important, especially because we know how short time is and none of us are promised tomorrow or even the next hour. So we've learned that, always known that, but got to experience it firsthand with several people in this last couple years on top of, and you understand this just as much as I do, is that within a breath, somebody we love can be gone, and that we didn't even expect that it was going to happen. Sometimes we know people are going, they're sick, or you're expecting it. It doesn't make it hurt any less, but it's kind of gives you time to expect it. And then other times you get this phone call and you're like, what? What do you mean? Yeah. Like you think it doesn't even set in. Like that's what happened for me. So, but that's where the no is important, because the time is so short that saying no to obligations that would keep you from time that, and whatever is important to you, to me, it just happens to be family, but to other people, there's people that don't have family. So prioritizing time with some close friends or something they truly love and enjoy to do, that's the same difference. Like if I just love gardening and that's my peaceful place, then I'm going to prioritize that and say no to other things to give me that piece of rest and kind of bring myself back and take the time to heal, because it also heals our bodies to take time to rest, to take care of ourselves, to drink the water, to take a nap if you need it. I will have water today. Right now it's still morning here, wherever you are watching. So my coffee is here, but yes, I will have water. I don't know if it's a water you approve of.
It's okay.
But
you try.
But I will definitely drink bottled water today.
I wanted to touch on the whole time thing too. And again, I can't remember whose quote this was, but the quote was, Amanda, if I gave you $1 million today, would you take it?
Yes.
If I gave you that $1 million, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take it?
Yes.
If you couldn't wake up tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so my reason for that is...
Usually they don't say that. You're getting me off guard.
Okay, so I would say yes.
Yeah.
And this is why. Because I'm very secure in my relationship with Jesus. So if I leave here tomorrow, I'm okay with that. I know where I'm going, and I know that the people I love will see me again. So I would take the $1 million to give it to the people that are still here that will wake up tomorrow to utilize until they come home and see me again. Okay. So yes, I would. I don't know what other people's answers would be.
Well, usually it's no, right? And the reason they say no is because time is more valuable. Going back to that time thing, time is more valuable than any dollar that we could ever make, right? And you were touching on that point, and time is so important. The time that we spend with people, like you said, literally in an hour, in a second, in a minute, in a breath, you could lose someone. So that time of making sure you say no to things that will get in the way of spending time with loved ones, with friends, whoever it is so much more valuable than whatever that other thing is. If it's a big business thing, if it's some gala, whatever that might be. And I've struggled when it comes to that whole no thing. And there's been a couple of times where specific people, I'm not going to name them, but specific people in the past, I have continued to say yes to because I felt like I owed them something because they may have helped me with something in the past.
Right.
Right. I felt like I kept owing them and kept owing them and kept owing them. That's where my wife comes into play. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what the heck are you doing? Like, why are you still doing this? He's taking and taking and taking from you. when are you going to say no? When are you going to learn? And she gets really frustrated, but she's helped me personally work on it too, because it's something we all have to work on. None of us are perfect.
So that's one of the points where saying no comes into mental health, is that you should be clear and concise and never feel obligated. And what you're saying is like, oh, they've helped me, so I have to say yes. And that's where feeling obligated comes in, but never feel obligated to say yes. And also you should never feel obligated to someone else, because when we help someone, if you're helping them for the true right reason, you're helping them not because they have to help you or now they owe you a favor. Correct. Or what am I going to get out of the help? If you serve or you help, if you truly are doing it from the heart, you're not expecting anything in return, whether it's right then or in the future. Mm-hmm. I don't help somebody because I think, oh, now they owe me a favor. So when I call them, I've got somebody that's got me that time. No, that's not the way it works. Exactly why I said yes to the question that psychologically, majority of people would I tend to say no to, because they're looking at it in a materialistic way. So they're thinking, well, I want all this money. Yeah, of course I want this money. And who would say no to that money? I would say yes to that money. There's so many amazing good things I could do to help people with that money.
100%.
And that's the first thought that comes to my mind, especially people around me. And then people I don't even know discuss stuff like that before. I mean, I run a nonprofit. So of course I want the money to help in the ways that I do. But the second question, people saying no, comes from, well, I don't get to do anything with it. So it's an immediate like, well, that sucked because I just said yes, and then now I don't get it. So that's that letdown, like in their minds, but it's because they're saying yes from a materialistic standpoint. Correct. No from a materialistic standpoint. I'm saying yes, because I'm not thinking of it in a materialistic way. Yeah. I'm thinking of a way that I can help people. Big picture. Even if I can't have it, I'm still going to say yes to it, because the people around me, the people here, will utilize it in the way I would for whatever time left they may have here on earth.
That's a good
until we see them in heaven again. My personal belief. So yeah, absolutely. You can't take anything with you when you go. Nope. And so it stays behind until that trumpet blows, so the people here can use it. Yeah. So why not take it and let people use it here? I'm 100%. Gone, so it's fine. Like this whole journey this past year with breast cancer, it's right in your face. Yeah. So yeah, you always think about it and you think you know what your answer would be. Yeah. And I thought I knew what my answer would be, and I actually kept that answer the same. Surprise, because you do question yourself. Yeah. Surprisingly, I stuck with my answer of I'm okay. I don't care what happens. I will not do chemo. I won't do it. I'm okay with. I know who I am in Christ, so I'm okay. I say no. I said no. I'm saying no to chemo. Say no to radiation. I say no because at the end of the day, I'm okay with living the rest of what I do have here, feeling good. Correct. Not feeling bad, so that the time I have with the family, with the things that I choose to say yes and no to, correct, I feel good. I'm not laying sick, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. So nobody take me wrong, because I'm not saying whatever, everybody's journey is their own, regardless correct, of if it's trauma, if it's illness, whatever. We all have our own journey, and we have to choose what's right for what we feel. So I don't think somebody's wrong for doing chemo. So I don't want somebody to take me out of context.
Yeah, it's just not for you.
I think it's just my own personal. And if somebody does, I'm with them. That's great. And I've had people around me that have, and that's great. I'm glad they did. That was what was right for them. So I don't want me to say that, and then, somebody take me wrong, like, oh, I don't believe in that, or I think they shouldn't, or I judge them for that. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying for me specifically, and definitely, saying no to a lot reduces stress. It reduces stress. It builds confidence. It keeps you from being overcommitted, which is bad for your health when you overcommit yourself, physically, emotionally, in so many ways. And I'm, I've done it too. I'm super knowledgeable in it, but I've said yes to things that I didn't want to do. I've overexerted myself. I'm like doing that right now. So, we all have to work on stuff, we have to work on what we talk about, but that's the thing. The more you say it, then you start to do it. And then the more you do it, it becomes a habit. And, so that's the whole point of just discussing it in general is, kind of get more familiar with it. But
yeah, no, I'm with you. It's a powerful thing, and it doesn't have to be, so like say someone's trying to do something with you, hanging out, or you need something for business. They're trying to get something done and they're like, hey, can you do it today? No, unfortunately I can't. We're completely booked. Like we're going to do this next week, or we can do it in 3 days, right? It doesn't have to be a no completely, right? And making sure that you're working on that. It can be a no, not right now, right? And then move that to a different day or move it to a different time, whatever it might be, instead of just dropping everything like it's a fire drill.
Right.
And, oh my gosh, I have to get this done right now. Oh, they need me. No, that's people kind of make that urgency and then push it on you. And you're like, hold on a second.
And initially,
we can still get this done.
You take that on. Initially, you start to feel like, oh my gosh, because we want to help them, but then you have to step back and be like, wait a minute, your emergency doesn't constitute an emergency on my end, and say no or not right now. And that was the other point I really wanted to make that I had was that saying yes too fast. It could be a yes. It doesn't have to be a no, but pray on it or think on it or just be patient before you answer, because then you really know if your yes was a yes and your no was a no. And so that part, that time part, if people truly respect you and value you, they'll be okay with an answer that can wait. Like, hey, I don't know, I'll let you know tomorrow or whatever, because then you have time to really be like, do I have time for that? What else is going on? And then, don't just say yes. Don't just say no either. Sometimes, you give yourself a little patience,
Mull it out a little bit.
Patience. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really builds confidence, I think, in a lot of people to say no or take time because once you are a person who your yeses are yeses and your no's are no's, you're a person that people do look up to and respect, because when they call and you say yes to help them, or when you say no, I can't, instead of yes and then not show up, you're a respectable person because you're sticking to whatever commitment you made, even if it's a no.
Yeah.
And they see that.
They can trust you and they know that you're going to be there if they need anything or whatever it might be too. And this is completely off topic, but thinking things and mulling them over, the way that I look at it, I'm covered in tattoos, right? There's some that I got way too quick and I said, yes, yep, we're rocking with that one. And there's some where I waited 2-3 months. Do I really want this one? Right. And when I got it, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. And you can compare that to life too, the exact same way. But I mean, being completely covered in tattoos, it's just a perfect segue. And I think that it's connected too. Make sure you take the time for yourself to make sure that yes is a yes, like you said. Make sure that no is truly a no. Or is it a maybe? Is it a, hey, we can do this a different day type thing, like I said?
Yeah, think about it. Stay intentional and stay focused, no matter what it is you're doing, especially in an answer you're giving. But anything you're doing in life and staying intentional and focusing on what matters to me is meaning that I have to pray about it and nothing is me and seeing what the Holy Spirit leads me to do.
Exactly.
And so for me, that's what staying intentional means, is only making the decision that I know that God would want me to make. And sometimes I fall short of that. But when I really actually take the time out to think about an answer, then I know for sure I'm doing what God wants me to do, because I took the time to seek him first. When I don't, sometimes it isn't. It's me and it shouldn't be me. And so, but
seek first the kingdom.
Yeah, always. So, a lot of all of this is scientifical, and it's in the textbooks, but you can align it with the word.
For sure.
110%. If you really sit down and read it, you can align it with the word. Always.
It's all there.
It's all there.
It's literally all there.
If you really sit there and you really actually, you read it and think about it. And so we're going to be out soon, I think, of time. But
we're running out of time.
But again, let us know if there's a topic you want us to focus on that has to do with mindset or hydration or water or mental health or literally anything. If you leave us a comment, go follow us, like, share, everything you can do. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok. Go look at our shorts. We're going to watch. So if there's a topic you want to hear about, and it's not something that is specific to us, we'll find a guest that's an expert and bring them on, and we'll talk about it for you, because we want to be here for you, not for us, and to guide people in the decisions that the Holy Spirit wants us to lead us in. So
that's it. Hydrated mind and soul. We out.